Our next senior, Senior William Milburn. And he's being escorted by our cheerleading coach, Miss Greta Broom. Our next senior, Kellyanne Burgess, escorted by her mom, Amy, and brother, Greg. Our next senior, Renaya Henry, escorted by her mother, Aaliyah Cobbs, and Uncle Vincent Moore. Our next senior, Senior Kylie Gonzalez. She's escorted by her mother, Kim Rivera, and dad, Danny Gonzalez. Senior Amaya Day, escorted by her mom and dad, Clinton and Yolanda Day. And Senior Shanasia Harris. She'll be escorted by her fellow cheerleaders. Nice round of applause for all of our senior cheerleaders and their escorts. And now we move on to our senior football players. First of all, we have senior Ryan Maven, escorted by his mom, Tashima Johnson, and dad, Ryan Maven. Senior Tyrell Powell, escorted by his mom, Stephanie Powell, and dad, Tyree Powell Sr. Senior Joshua Cephas, escorted by his mom, Cherie Cephas, and dad, Michael Cephas Sr. Senior Prince Porte, escorted by his mom, Roberta Porte, and sister Janice Porte, brother Samuel Porte, and sister Debbie Porte. Senior Ryan Carter, escorted by Ryan Carter, Yoshan Serrano, Daisy Angela, and Arabeth Correa. Senior Gavin Gallo, escorted by his dad, Ricky Gallo, and brother Gage Gallo, and Allie Parent. Senior Colin Greif, escorted by Deanna Greif, his mom, and Ray Greif, his dad. Senior Xavier Rivera, escorted by his mother, Tiffany Davis. Senior Sean Guadalupe, escorted by Christian Guadalupe, his dad, and Janine Alisair, his mother. Senior Jesus Santiago, escorted by his mom, Delshawn Santiago, and dad, Jesus Santiago. Senior Joel Dunbar, escorted by his brother, Jimmy Broughton. Senior Nashia Bailey, escorted by his mom, Christina Bailey. Senior Xavier Mercado, escorted by his mom, Angelica Rivera. Senior Keyshawn Chestnut, escorted by his dad, Kevin Chestnut, and brother, Caden Chestnut. Senior Patrick Gilbert, escorted by his mom, Lisa Geller, dad, Chris Gilbert, brother, Jackson Gilbert, and girlfriend, Shannon Bates. Senior Darnell Herring, escorted by his mom, Jerica Smith, and dad, Darnell Herring Sr., and also his sister, Andrea Jones. Senior Olufemi Sodi, escorted by his brother, Sam Sodi. Olufemi. Senior Jameson Blanding, escorted by his mom, Hitchka Hadley, and his sister, Simone Blanding. accompanied by his friends. Senior Jaden DeVecchio, escorted by his mom, Dina DeVecchio, and Marquise Shepardson. And also his brother Troy Luna and brother Vicente Luna. Senior Terrence Brown, escorted by his mom, Zariah Brown, and dad, Terrence Brown Sr. Senior Carlos Melendez, escorted by his mom, Natalie Torres, and dad, Carlos Melendez Sr. Senior Julio Santana, escorted by his dad, Julio Santana. Senior Robert Echeverria, escorted by his father, Robert Echeverria Sr. And last, certainly not least, unable to attend this night, Rowan Adams. We recognize his mom, Stephanie Adams, and dad, Dwight Adams. Nice round of applause for all of our senior football players, parents, and their escorts. And ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the rest of the Vineland High School Fighting Clan football team.
Hello and welcome to Gittone Stadium for Vineland High School, Washington Township football, and happy Friday night. Rich Scarpa here along with my old partner, Terry Love. Welcome, Terry.
Thank you, Rich. Good to be back in the booth with you. It's even better to be back here at the confines of good old Gittone Stadium.
Yeah, a little bit of a early senior night, but you got to see that while we were waiting to get on the air with you as we await the national anthem. But coming into this is, you're well aware because we talk all the time, Terry. It's been some injuries. We went through 3 quarterbacks last game. Our lead running back, Charles Clark, has been out and will be out again tonight. Charles is averaging almost 9 yards a carry and is number 2 in Group 5 in yards per rush, but only has the 2 games in, which sits him at number 11 in rushing yards. So a big offensive component out. Also out today is Jacob Martinez, who started games 2 and 3 at quarterback. He's still banged up, but he's moving around pretty good. Before the game, got to see him throwing with quarterback coach Vizo, in his street clothes. But, nice arm, looking like he's just around the corner. And Gavin Gallo was injured at the end of last game. He's back. Ryan Carter, who defensively has been outstanding, but also offensively, when Vineland tries to play power football, they use him as a fullback, and he's really got some ISO blocks and has allowed the offense to move between the tackles. He's back. And we have a new arrival as we've been waiting for transfer Julius Wilson, number 2, to be available, and they tell me, he's a linebacker, he's a safety, he's a running back, he's a receiver, he's an athlete, and look for him to make an impact as one of the new faces.
Yeah, definitely good to see Julius Wilson finally getting a chance to come out on the field and play here. The coaches all speak highly of just skill. Wherever he goes, he's going to make an impact. Great to see. It's also going to be pretty good to see, although we talked about some injuries, you are getting some people back. You move some people around, so it's going to be interesting to see what they can do with that.
And we're going to step aside for the national anthem performed by Vineland High School's Marching Clan. All right, we're just about ready to get going. And over the last 5 games between Vineland and Washington Township, it's Vineland 4 wins, Township 1, but that one came last year in a 35-0 win by Township. Township comes in at 3-2, number 7th in Group 5 South in power points. And looking at last year's game, on the ground they rushed for almost 250 yards and 2 scores, averaging over 8 yards a carry as a team, with top back Scavetta going 13 for 144. That's an 11 yards at a clip, and that's something Vineland needs to shore up.
Vineland going a different route. I think they're trying to bring back the magic of old. They're moving Tank Powell over to the quarterback position. Although last year he played wide receiver where he had 6 catches, now playing at quarterback, so we'll see if he can turn those 6 receptions over to someone else. Last year's game, it was a tough one in the end, but at the half, it was only a 7-0 game. Sort of that thing that kind of happened with Vine last year. The fourth quarter came around. They wore down a little bit, gave up those 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
And that also happened last week when we're trying to get back in the game and you go for these 4th downs on your own side, trying to get back in, and when you don't do it, you can fall behind. So Vineland's going to receive this one. One more thing about Washington Township. They have 2 losses, but it's the 5-0 Group 5 South number 1, Mainland and Holy Spirit, as that's going to go for a touchback. Vineland will start at their 20. A combined 9-1 are their opponents that beat them, and they had quite a shootout with Holy Spirit.
It's going to be interesting. This looks to be a matchup of size against size up front. Both teams up front are very similar size. It's just going to be a matter of who can get the bigger push.
Well, I'm watching some game film with last week's opponent, Kingsway versus Township, watching that game a few times. The offense and defensive lines of Washington Township are pretty big, but the thing is they get off the ball really quick, and that's going to be something Vineland needs to be ready, and they got to get moving right off the jump.
Trips high.
So Vineland spreads it out to get it started with Tank Powell with a lone setback behind him. Here comes motion, and they're going to give to Cephas over the left side with a big opening. He dives forward for a gain of about 8 or 9. Cephas was a smaller back, but has done an outstanding job in vision with the running, as have all the backs. Cephas, the senior, at 5'5", 150.
Yeah, and what really makes that play work there, James Blanding using those long arms, getting that nice little hook block.
a great way to start it off. Well, for Vineland, it's going to come down to that offensive line and what they're going to be able to do. And we'll acknowledge our starters when we get a moment here. But once again, 3 receivers out, lone setback. It's Gallo at tight end, just off into the slot for Powell, who gives again, this time driving forward for a first down. So 2 plays and a first down. Nice push up front as Cephas takes it again. So for Vineland up front, it's Keyshawn Chestnut, the senior at 5'11", 285 at center. Your guards are Patrick Gilbert, senior, 6'2", 305. And Sode at 6'1", 260 with Herring, 6'4", 276 at left tackle. And who you just mentioned, James Blanding, 6'6", 300. So Vineland with some size up front, and they're taking a pretty basic approach at it right now. And maybe that's the mismatch where they see they may be able to do a little something, as we just took a look at number 5, Schweg, coming out off his best game last week, was just outstanding.
Yeah, it's a good start. It's good. It makes you a good feeling as offensive lineman to just push 2 plays, first down.
Well, here comes the jet sweep. Cut up inside that. A little late on the cut up as that gets stretched out by the Township defense. So that was Diaz's first touch, and he didn't make it back to the line.
Seeing a lot of flow out of Township. They're going on keys that they were given by their coaches, and they're just kind of reacting to that. That time, happened to read it right.
Yeah, nothing like leading the team with 6 receptions last year. And here you are under center. It's the Powell family heritage there. Just Reese didn't get to do it. Reese, a big lineman. High snap, but back down to Cephas, who dips to the inside, now bounces out, turns it upfield, and he looks like he's going to have another first down. Outstanding job up front and by Cephas. And sure enough, they convert the first down. So you mentioned the rest of Vineland's starting lineup out there. You'll see a Fanador at the wide receiver, the junior at 6', 165. Mutcherson working in there at tight end and wide out at 6'2", 170. Schwed led the team in receiving, had a nice touchdown catch last week. He's number 5 at 5'7", 155. Cephas doing the bulk of the ball carrying right now, with Ryan Carter coming in at fullback eventually.
A little bit of a new look, seeing Bailey in the backfield early on, giving Cephas just a little bit of rest after that really nice 10-yard run.
Well, that time it's Carter with it, and he spins forward and picks up about 6. So Vineland having their way up front. This is a really nice-looking opening drive. It's 35-0 last year. As we mentioned, 7-0 at half, and the wheels fell off. But Vineland now driving the football and really getting a good push. 1 play for negative the one time they tried to go outside the tackles. Now they stay inside there, and it's not just like they're getting good yards. They're getting some big holes that they can exploit. And I think that 3-by-1 or the slot and the twin receivers is pulling out some of that support where Vineland can get a little bit of an edge on the inside.
Yeah, anytime you can take one of those middle backers and just stretch them out just a little bit and hit back inside and fill that gap where they were, you're going to get positive things.
So here's the pitch, and that's played well as Vineland tries to get outside that time. Not able to do it as Nas Lewis, the junior, is brought down. Actually, that was Nas Lewis on that earlier carry, too.
Notice that was the first time Vineland actually went under center this game. I didn't think we did that anymore in today's football.
You know, I still think when you want to drive a football, you know, and I work at Bridgeton, so I watch all their stuff and haven't watched here. It's like a high snap. You jump up, you catch it. You're back standing still. You give it off. There's no momentum to the line. And when you're under center, boy, you're just coming up.
Yes.
You're at full speed when you make contact. We're down to 7:15 to go. Vineland's first big third down here. It's 3rd and about 7. Township sowing blitz, and it's snapped over Powell's head. He scoops it, falls on it, and that's going to do it for the drive as the snap goes too far, but Powell able to jump on top of it. So now it'll be time to punt.
That's just good football IQ there. Don't make a bad situation worse, trying to pick it up and do something fancy. You take the loss, go down on it, punt it away. Let your defense do their job.
And you're absolutely right, because even if you pick it up, gosh forbid, while you're gathering it, you fumble it. There's nobody from your team back there with you.
A little bit of confusion out there.
So it's going to be Colin Greif to punt, and he's been outstanding. Every game I've watched in this league, it's like he's got to be your all-conference punter and probably place kicker, even though place kicking, there's a lot of good kickers in the West Jersey League that we're in. Not only that, his mother's cookies were great, but tonight, welcome to fall. What a nice apple cobbler with, there's a high snap, but Greif has it. Boots it away, high end over end, coming down to about the 40-yard line, and I think he stepped out of bounds. But right on the spot in coverage was Rayon Carter. Back to that nice, I'm calling it a cobbler, but just the right amount of brown sugar that's still laying in the back of my molars. And, of course, Ray and I go back forever. You know, we punched each other in the face for 3 years in high school and 2 years in midget football, and just nice to see the success his son is having.
It was a nice thing to show up right before broadcast time.
I don't know how he's so thin with that kind of cooking going on. So 1st and 10 for Township, and we're going to talk about their offenses. It's kind of really balanced. Give on the inside, driving forward till finally somebody goes low, gain of about 6. So for that offense, it's Dierkowski at quarterback, but the offense has rushed for 600 yards, or 800, passed for 600, really balanced and quickly back up to the ball. Dierkowski going to take it himself. He's hit right away.
Very
Beautiful
good
tackle down there.
Excellent job there of doing what you said Washington did so well as an offensive line, was get that push. They had the lineman in the last game 2 yards back before anything happened. Vineland's defensive front right there has been shutting that down.
So 3rd down, just that quickly. They throw it out. The pass is high, and he's hit and brought down probably about a half a yard short of the 1st down. So decision time now for head coach Mike Schatzman from Township, and they're going in a hurry. I got to think they're just going to go for it here, as they've yet to give the ball to their big running back. We'd call him a fullback, but it's Giuliano Scavetta. And no, it's Dierkowski taking it himself. And what a play by the defense. Outstanding.
Mason Afanador coming crashing through, shutting that one down.
You know, as we were doing some pregame talk and pregame notes, you're talking about Dierkowski and Scavetta averaging 7 and 6 yards a carry, 11 versus last year, but not to be done this time.
Yeah, as a defensive coordinator, that's like pick your poison. Who do you key on in that situation? All right, defense getting Vineland's offense right back out on that field. Would say like quick 3 and out, but they went for it on 4th, so 4th and out. Ends Vineland great field position.
Vineland going to spread them out again with 3 receivers to the bottom, 1 up top. Tank Powell is your quarterback. So he stands right at the 49-yard line. Now he's going to stand alone. And he's going to throw. He has time in the pocket. He floats it to Mutcherson. Mutcherson just not able to bring it down. As he had his hands on it, then it's broken up by the defensive back.
It's a little too much air under that. Allowed that safety to roll over, get that hit, just jar it loose.
Well, what protection on that pass play. You know, the good thing was you're a little surprised because it's a great play call when Vineland drives the ball up the middle, and then you line up with a back and you empty your backfield, and then you almost come up with that big completion for about 18 yards.
Kind of shocking linebackers. Is this real? Is this really what's going on?
Oh, and Powell had all day to stand back there, too. This time, Powell keeps around the top of the screen, picks up a great block and a 1st down.
Great job of reading the end in the RPO.
Well, Xavier Diaz, doesn't get credit for a carry, doesn't get credit for 10 yards. but he stalk blocks and provides the opening for Powell. And Powell last week when he got in late, it was his legs just getting up the field. I believe 58 yards in that drive for a touchdown.
Glad you threw that, the stalk block. It is a lost art, boy, but when you're good at it, well,
when your
nothing
receivers
like it.
can block, I'm a big Eagles fan, and the blocking the receivers do are probably better than most teams, if not all. 1st and 10, your Vineland High School Fighting Clan at the Township 33 as they look to go up first on the scoreboard. Give up the middle, breaking down and making the tackle, but not before we pick up about 2.5.
It's nice to see Cephas immediately getting down the hill with a full head of steam.
And not only that, here comes Gallo in. The guts. It's easy to run outside. It's easy to do this or that, but when you're 5'5", 150, and we're talking about a defensive line with a couple 280-pounders that you're trying to get through up there, let alone a really firm, good-sized linebackers in there too. As Jaden Robinson, the leading tackler, is a sophomore, number 41. He's involved in most of the tackles. So 2nd down, here comes motion. High snap over Powell's head. He takes it on the bounce, and he's going to get swarmed over at the 41. So big loss there on the play.
Yeah, you hate to see that. You had all those positive plays in a row. Now you almost we all know you put yourself in a chance where now you have to go to the air. Now there's no surprise in that defense.
Yeah, and, there is a very, very strong breeze, and it's basically coming from the north, heading south. So it's coming from the top of your screen to the bottom. And when I think of a breeze and a Powell at quarterback, I think back to that Millville game.
The big touchdown.
They scored with a minute and 20 seconds left, and somehow Powell
to Mason
filtered it through. So 3rd down and long for Vineland. We're going to call it 3rd and 19. Powell has a running back alongside. Here comes motion. Powell steps up. I think he's going to try to go deep as he hits it over the middle and caught and into the end zone.
Huge.
For the touchdown. Mason Afanador, the junior, gets in the end zone. He had 2 options, too. The receiver at the top was there, and Powell floats it in that breeze into the end zone and puts Vineland up early in this one.
That was huge. Again, we're going to talk about, you talked about the nice stalk block out there on that one. That was a running back there, allowed him to get out of the pocket and keep his eyes up downfield for him to make that pass. And Cephas made a great block on a blitzing backer.
Afanador, 6 catches, 42 yards coming in. He's got that 42 right here, so he's at 7 for 84. And Greif converts and nicely keeps it on this side of the wall, doesn't damage any of Vineland Public Schools buses, and your Fighting Clan is up on top as we step aside for a word from our sponsors.
Red and Gray Gridiron Club would like to thank the following sponsors for their support of the Vineland High School football team this season. The Greenview Inn at Eastland Golf Course, Reconstructive Orthopedics, Newfield National Bank, Van Dodge, Allen Associates, TechNed Consulting, Medio Law Firm, Barufi Brothers, G&S Dry Cleaning, Vineland Education Association, Dr. Michael Gorson General and Cosmetic Dentistry, The Claridge, a Radisson Hotel, Larry's 2 Restaurant and Catering.
And we are back. 1:56 to go in the first. Vineland up 7-0. Greif about to kick it off, and just really 2 nice drives. And sometimes nice drives don't get you 4 first downs and points. Field position. And Township, that defense, when Township goes for it on 4th and 1, and you get a tackle for loss, just outstanding. Set Vineland up, the bad snap, they recover. Now let's get our second look at this defense. This one's going to go high and short down to the 20. 2 guys fight over it, trying to juke upfield, but there's nowhere to go.
Ball happened to go out of bounds.
Ball's loose but goes out as Rayon Carter makes another tackle on special teams. Sometimes in special teams, I talk about it all the time, it's don't just run to the guy. If you have outside containment, your outside shoulder is always free, and he did a great job of that there and then squeezed down.
A lot of times you make that mistake, you freeze up, you know it's just you, but he did a great job of breaking down, keeping that outside shoulder where it needed to be.
I think maybe Township's buses were too nice. Nice coach buses coming in. They're a little rested. We were taking bumpy car rides. 1st and 10. Dierkowski has his running back Scavetta near him. Scavetta up the middle, finds a way. Got a big lane. Finally brought down by Tank Powell, but after a gain of 12.
It's tough, that little counter there. Called somebody looking in the backfield. Happens. Got to shake that one off.
And those counters, it used to be that's all Ocean City did was run a 2-yard play, run a 2-yard play, run a 2-yard play, get a penalty, first down, 2-yard play, counter for 20. Yeah, it's kind of what.
Yeah, the old wing deep. That's what it was good for.
So here's motion in front. Give to Scavetta again. This time he's brought down right at the line of scrimmage. Good job up front. And then, like I mentioned, 11 yards of carry last year versus us. Just a really good start for that Vineland defense.
Yeah, it was a really good job by Soda there. Just getting a tiny bit of penetration just to throw that timing off of that play just a little bit.
Township keeps playing fast, a little bit of a false start on the outside. This one's thrown in, and it looks like it's going to be complete for a gain of about 7. So 3rd and 3. Approaching midfield at the 45. Yeah, this is what we were talking about before, where it's tough because both those guys back there can run it. Who's going to lead block? Who's going to follow up? Tank Powell showing blitz. He's coming off the corner. The throw goes that way. The move on the inside for a first down. Finally brought down by Julius Wilson.
It's tough to see. You know you have him there. You try to make that arm tackle up high. Doesn't always work out. Got to wrap up.
Well, they're going to try to tire the Vineland defense out as quick as they're getting back up there. Just give up the middle, and he's tripped up almost immediately. And then Donnie St. Jean.
Nice penetration. Just getting enough of them just to slow him up and let everybody else get a chance to get there and get him down.
We talk about my first game of play-by-play in about a year. And we're going, no huddle, hurry up. When I'm watching films, they line up, they look around, they wait till 10 seconds and get their play. But they want to try to get that Vineland defense on their heels. Shotgun all alone, Dierkowski as the end of the first quarter happens. So the first quarter, Vineland's got on the board. Township with a drive. Gives us a little bit of time. We mentioned Township has a really good team all the time. And somehow – we've managed to go 4-1 against them. And when I was looking at the old games, I came across some names and some things that we have a few of the guys coaching now. So 2010 was Darius Flowers to Bobby Romano and Brian Winchester with 2 touchdowns for a Vineland 20-7 win. So we went back a little far. Let's hit 2014. Isaiah Pacheco, 3 touchdowns rushing, 1 passing, a 44-yarder to Chris Atoki, and Coach Davion Seymour had a 54-yard touchdown run as VHS won 36-21. Let's get a little
homecoming win that day.
Let's get a little more recent. 2018, it was Coach Ryan Shelton at quarterback with 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing to Tony, 107 yards rushing, and Nas Broom with a 63-yard run. And we'll tell you about 2019 next time we get back there. So Vineland needs to make a stop. Great first down stop. It's 2nd and 11. And all by himself is Dierkowski. He's going to try to run it up the middle. He's hit and drop, but not before he picks up a good handful of yards. They move him back a little bit. It's going to be 3rd and 4 from the Vineland 39.
Noah Cruz on that play doing a good job realizing that was draw and getting back into his defensive linebacker position and not dropping back into coverage.
So now we pretty much go 5 wide or 4 with 1 in the slot as they try to spread Vineland out again. The ball is tipped and almost intercepted. Great pressure. They spread them out, but Vineland's defense puts enough pressure on. I believe that was Carter. So 4th down. Township probably in go-for-it territory here, but it's going to be that 4th and 4. Now they slow it down and start to think because
this is huge for them right here.
yeah, short field for Vineland if not, but not worth punting to gain 15 yards. Low snap. Dietrikowski picks it up under pressure by Powell, throws deep over the middle. Incomplete. Excuse me, that wasn't Powell with the pressure. That was Wilson in there with the pressure again. So we mentioned Wilson, the junior, at 6'1", 190 in his first start for Vineland now that he's eligible.
That play looked like Dietrikowski read man coverage, receiver read zone coverage. He went to sit down, and the ball just clearly overthrown.
Well, we have a long way to go in this, 11:22 in the first half, but yeah, playoffs. But yeah, but you got 16 teams are making it in. Vineland's right now at 26, I believe. Township is in right now, but these are this win. Pick one up at Egg Harbor, you're right knocking on the door. Long way to go, but a great start for the Fighting Clan. Powell has Cephas behind him. 3 receivers set, and Powell's going to throw it again. Pressure comes late. Powell gets rid of it out of bounds. Intended for Alfanador.
That pressure didn't allow him to get that full throwing motion. Ball happened to sail on him just a little bit.
That's exactly what Coach Vizo is just going over to follow through, you know. It was funny when we're walking on the field and I see Vizo having a catch with the quarterback that's injured. I'm like, nose up, make it easy to catch because he's driving that ball down. He's been here a while, does a great job. And, you know, if you're the quarterbacks coach, you work with one guy and a couple others on the side, but he's had 3 different starting quarterbacks this year. Motion and a give up the middle. Cephas got all he could, picking up about a yard or so. But, again, as you mentioned earlier, that's the smart play. You try to go wide, you lose 2 yards. So 3rd and 9. Vineland at their own 40.
It's always that play call. You got to look at that Chinese menu of a play call sheet and think, all right, what am I going to dial up here? What's going to get us those 9 yards we need?
I think that ball's going back in the air. What do you think?
I think so, too.
Shwed in motion. Good snap to Powell, and it's on the ground to Cephas. Almost picks his way through. Great tackle on the inside by Township's Deshaun Long, their leading receiver. Let's punt it away, boys. We got a good punter. Here we go. So Vineland goes 3 and out, and Greif will be kicking it back, punting it.
Even with the 3 and out, you still came up with positive yards every play, so you got to take that as a plus moving forward.
And your second 4th down stop on defense. Leading into that, got you this field position. Now Greif's leg will get you a little bit more. Kind of think Township may need to move back as they're about the 30. Look for this to go back to about the 20. High snap. Greif has to run back to get it. Hits a line drive off a Vineland player. Good to get rid of it down at the 26. I was a little concerned at first touching with the helmet. Could bring you back here. Let's see if the officials are going to talk about it.
Talking about it.
Because that probably set him up at the 45 with 9:36 to go. Ball is spotted back at the 27. Let's hope it stays there. I've said this many a time. Sometimes when you're going to punt, you just punt at that stupid nose guard. Let him almost like, I don't mean stop. I'm a stupid nose guard. That's what I played. I don't mean it that way. But almost like, what was that? Longest yard, you know? Let him throw. And sure enough, right where it hit the Vineland player in the head, they're going to call it the 41. That Township will start over. Good job getting rid of that off the the wide snap. So good field position for Township. Kind of we're approaching halfway through the second quarter, and Township hasn't punted yet. But they turned it over twice.
Yeah. There's a reason.
So that defense, they've been defending an awful lot of plays, and they're back out there now It looks like we have a little wing lead and a procedure
full
call.
start.
Yeah, they mixed it up that time as they brought their slot receiver in to play wing to lead in. Another thing I noticed with Township is a lot of times there's more than one person pulling. They'll pull a tight end and a tackle all off the backside to lead up on the inside. And one of the rarities in high school, you see an influence pull where the guy just goes the wrong way on purpose
just
and
to
pulls
do
the backer. Makes the linebackers get their eyes back in the backfield instead of reading their keys. Now to throw it, looking for a quick out. It's complete. Boy, nice open field tackle.
Rayon Carter, great job of
go.
breaking down. One reason, well, besides the size, there's one reason he could never be a cornerback. But you're on that island. Those are the situations. Hope you make the breakdown just right.
There's a give up the middle, breaking a couple tackles, a couple more, still on his feet, diving forward, short of the first down, but only by a yard. Scavetta's best run of the night, so 3rd and short.
Play tight to the line. They bring in a backup quarterback for this play.
Vineland pinching the middle. And enough to get the first down in Vineland territory at the Vineland 46.
Now this is a person we saw in film, Aquino in at quarterback. He came in and relieved Zergowski at one game and did a fairly good job back there.
And that lets Dietrikowski come up with a head of steam, but nowhere to go. Yeah, because when I was going through, I'm like, 276 yards against Spirit. Was this guy hurt the first 4 games? Very different, as you can allude to. You were telling me about how the differences in the quarterbacks.
So as we said, you have Dietrikowski, you have Scavetta in that back. Now you can really rotate the two of them out as your running backs and keep Aquino in there as your signal caller.
And that's nice for Vineland, having Township have to make some changes to what they came in thinking they were going to do.
Woo!
Tank Powell blows it up for no gain.
Made the immediate read.
Well, Logan Perez made a nice catch, but the open field tackling for Vineland with Powell there and earlier Shaquan Anderson just really been outstanding. The only thing is you make 9 great tackles and you come up and miss one and it goes for 40 yards. It's like, we got to tackle better. Well, you're on an island making that play, and you're hitting 900, and it ain't enough. Hit a baseball 30% of the time, you're outstanding. 3rd and long, 3rd and 11. Back to pass. Good time. Little bit of pressure. The ball thrown outside, incomplete. I got to think Township's going to punt it here and gain the field position with 6:51 to go here in the first half. And sure enough, wholesale changes as the Vineland defense is going to hold.
That is a tough throw for a high school quarterback to go from hash marks on one side to the numbers on the opposite side of the field, and he almost got it.
And 20 yards downfield,
yeah.
That's about a 60-yard throw by the sophomore. Beautiful high end over end punt. Xavier Diaz back there. He's going to let it roll.
Get away from it. Don't let him push you into it.
And that's downed at the 1. Nice special teams play.
It's always that big fear when they don't move out of the way right away. Somebody's just give them that little nudge and they fall and just touch it just barely, and then they recover.
It's always that nice thing when they don't secure it, they touch it and they leave it there, and then you can pick it up and do something for free because you can't fumble after that. Well, Vineland is going to start with their quarterback in the end zone on this, and this is a drive that you'd like to net 2 first downs, punt it back, and defend a short time. Of course, you want more, but you've got to get some field position here. Usually in this situation, Vineland will go under center with a lead blocking back, and sure enough, that's how they're lined up.
Good old I formation.
Looks like Borte is going to do the blocking up front. maybe a half a yard there.
Nas Lewis thought he saw a little more room out there, tried to bounce it out.
All right, now we go back. This is the sledgehammer we used before, as Carter is the fullback, Powell under center. Nice block back, just not up there quick enough. This Township holds again. Gain of about a half yard.
Good here. You have options. You're middle of the field. It's not you're not pinned to one side where you have to, cut the field in half. You're good here.
I'd like to throw it up the field, not laterally, because you're so close there. And,
yeah.
And them soft passes in this wind, or you just run it again. Maybe you have Powell boot. That worked really good before, but now in a power formation once again, Powell under center and Vineland jumps. Tried to pull him offside to get that free 5 yards. Offensive line. They came off the ball quick, but early also. That'll be a half the distance. Move them back about a yard and a half. They're on the 2-yard line for this 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, Vineland went with the unbalanced line there. He had the extra lineman up top and kind of wanted to get there before he was supposed to. It happens in those situations. You want to do the right thing. You want to get that nice push up front. Get a little anxious.
But not only that, it's your 3rd quarterback in 4 games. Different cadences.
Cadence is off, yes.
Especially like a hard count when you're trying to pull them off. You haven't probably heard Tank do it that much. They're all crammed in the middle. The ball is loose, and it's recovered by Township for the score as the ball's batted out. Lands in the end zone. Vineland went conservative, just trying to get another yard or two to kick it away.
Try to just give yourself a little breathing room and just didn't secure the football.
And the fumble recovery is going to make it 7-6 as we wait for the kick. Josh Fanchi in to give it a try off the hold by Christian Patel. A lineman want to snap it. Usually that's a skill guy in there. Good snap, ball's placed down, and that's boomed through and good. We're knotted at 7s with 4:47.
Hey, playing line's a skill too.
Yeah, but usually you're too busy banging in the trenches that you have your backup tight end be the long snapper.
Yep. Or one of your really small linebackers. They're usually you're 2 that you usually find doing it. Good thing here, Greif. Boot went out pretty good, so with this free kick coming up.
Well, no free kick.
Oh, yeah.
It looked like, that's where we were. Let's go back to that 4th game, and it was 2019 as Tyreen Powell had a 21-yard rushing touchdown. 63 in the game. Barry Turner returned a fumble, which just happened the other way, and Garton with a few kicks. Lathan Kent led the way in tackles with 13. So that's our flashback moments.
I mean, went for years without playing Township. And then you just rattle off all these games they just played recently.
When you go there, it's always some kind of function that there's not a seat to be had. That's a high booming kick, going to come down to about the 5. Straight up the field to the 20. There's an opening in the middle. Get to the outside, and there you go to the 50, the 40. Outruns the kicker.
Oh, and a horse collar.
Cephas with a great return to set Vineland up at about the 20-yard line. I said outruns the kicker. He does, but then he reaches out and grabs him by the back of his shoulder pads.
Coach Guzman there all over the officials, and rightfully so. I mean, missed that one completely.
And that would have been
an additional
21. Would it be half or would it be the full?
It's a 15. would think it would be the full 15, but
Because you're outside the 20, right?
Yes,
Half the
yes,
distance.
yeah.
It was at the 21-yard line. That'll put you at the 6. So 4:33 to go. Vineland in great field position off the Cephas return.
nice. Initially, the kicker had the angle. Cephas gave him a little shoulder dip.
So Vineland looking more like Vineland in their offensive set with 3 receivers out wide. Cephas alongside Powell in the shotgun. And that's Cephas up the middle. Ooh. Get some yards, a little more to the right there. A little more to the right.
Another step and a half to the right. There's a nice little hole, but easy to say as a lineman.
Yeah, and you know what? And the offensive line has done a really nice job. And continuing the wash when somebody gets on your inside is really tough for a back to see right at the line of scrimmage with that kind of speed hitting the line. So that's the times where in the shotgun you hand to them and they're flat-footed, they let it develop. This here, you're just finding your way. Vineland looking like a power here. Carter leads them up through. Maybe a gain of 1. Some real nice hard running, but it's been years since Davon Seymour.
Yes, when you have that big power back.
Big power back, can break some tackles, can fall forward. You just don't realize how rare that is, you know. Give yourself.
You take that for granted when it's there, and then when it's gone, you're like, oh.
Well, even in the NFL, you don't have a 6'2", 225, 230-pound chiseled running back nicknamed T.O. because he looked like T.O. doing push-ups and sit-ups in his driveway. 3rd down and 5 for the Fighting Clan. Cephas and Powell back there. Give to Cephas again. This time he angles off the left side. Now we got a decision. It's going to be 4th down and 2. Easily in field goal range. And Greif's going to come out to try to give it a shot from the left hash. A little bit of difference because the wind is blowing right across. So you're on that hash where it's going to push it wide. So you've got to get an angle for that far post. And being a right-footed kicker kind of got dude in the way. You'd rather be on the other half. And wide left. Plenty of foot on it. Just creeps to the left a little bit. So Township's going to start back in their own end with 2:15 to go. Yeah, and that
still with 2 minutes down, they're pinned pretty deep. This is where you need to hold strong here to go in 7 to 7.5.
Be interesting to see who's at quarterback this time around for Township. It was Aquino last time out. And Aquino back on the field. So you do have to watch pass a little bit more based on what we've seen.
He seems to be the more pure passer of the two out here.
So just 2 wideouts with 2 backs alongside. Aquino in the shotgun for Township. And it's counter, and it's sniffed out and defended great.
I mean, Noah Cruz, great job reading it.
But
I'm going to say it, got to say it. Ryan Carter actually made the play.
Yeah, I was going to say the hardest part was seeing where he's going to try to bounce off of Ryan in there. So the 2 of them combined for an outstanding play, a loss of 2. 2nd and 12 for Township. We're at 140 and running. Aquino back to pass, steps up, floats one, and completes it. And out of bounds after a gain of about 6 or 7 is Logan Perez.
Been impressed by 1 sophomore quarterback and another on the Vineland side, not really playing the quarterback position. Both of them, both times, flushed out of pocket. Eyes were completely up the field. Normally in that situation, it is just bail, eyes down and bail.
Tackled right at the 1st down marker, and they're going to give him the 1st down. Kind of thought that ball may have popped out incomplete the way the helmet's right on the ball. An outstanding catch to hold on to it. So we're at 122 and running. Township with a long way to go. This time we're going to have 4 wide receivers out on the field. Pressure. The ball's hit. Tipped.
Oh, and it ends up in an offensive lineman's hands.
Now, let me tell you something right now. That is a play he will never forget. So timeout called by Township.
Great pressure that time. You know they were in a throwing situation. That's when you, as a defender, up front, you pin the ears back and you just go for it.
Yeah, Scavetta, the running back that we mentioned last year, 11.7 yards a carry, really did a nice job picking up the Vineland pressure. Yeah, and there are things we see a little more at the next level and the pros. Like, you may be a great running back, but if you can't pick up pressure and you don't know where to slide, you're useless. Get off the field, and he does a great job there. 59 seconds to go. So close to coming up with that and having another chance at a field goal.
Yeah, you had 2 Vineland defensive linemen get a little touch on it as it was being batted around, and just ends up in the hands of a Township lineman when it's all said and done.
Well, defensive coordinator Cliff Smith's defense playing a great first half. Just don't want to give anything cheap here with under a minute to go. Aquino and Scavetta. Scavetta dripping out, looking for a run-pass option, and he fires it deep. Vineland in position.
Oh my goodness.
What an outstanding catch by Deshaun Long. Boy, Vineland in position to come up with it as Nas Diaz goes up with him. He's just able to outmaneuver in the air. Brilliant reception and a nice ball thrown by Aquino.
That was one of those when he let it go, like, where is he throwing that?
I was like, oh, we got 2 of us tracking that thing in the air.
Like, what is he seeing that I don't see?
He's going to throw it again. He's trying to hit a seam in the
Screen.
middle. It's tipped and caught. And what nice gang tackle on the play as Scavetta comes up with it. But 2 guys there to bring him down immediately.
Yeah. Gallo sniffed that one out a little early as he was dropping back into coverage. Sniffed, came up, had Noah Cruz there to help him out and make that tackle.
So another timeout called here with 34 seconds. Right now with the ball on the 28-yard line. We're talking about a 44-yard field goal into a strong breeze. So they're going to have to get some more yards. Strong leg on the extra point, but the
44 yards is in a wind coming in, sort of in your face. That's
and you got to hit it high.
Yeah.
And that's what's really going to push it. Well, we can get out of this 7-7 here. I think we would have signed up for that first half. Prince Borte checks out. Mutcherson and Diaz are the deep guys. And you got Gallo just hanging out in the middle, trying to stop any crossing in there. So 3 receivers, 1 running back. Aquino to throw again. He has time, floats it out and out of bounds, short of the first down. With 29 seconds to go, it's going to set up short, maybe a yard. It's going to be 3rd and 3.
I expect to see a very similar play here. Keno throwing out to the flat, probably at the bottom of the screen here.
Well, that one looked like it was almost tipped or lightly tipped also. So Vineland doing a good job getting their hands up on the way in as the quarterback's getting ready to throw. But had a couple tipped and not go our way. It's time for the defense to make a play. You want to beat a good team, we've got to make a play. 3 receivers set. And they're going to try to run it. There's a big opening. Cuts back on the inside, down at the 4-yard line.
Township calls another timeout.
They call their last timeout as Diedrikowski takes that one and sets them up with 23 seconds to go.
thinking fade route here with the touch this quarterback seems to have. I mean, incomplete just stops the clock.
And you've got the first down.
Yeah.
So you go fade to the outside where nobody else can get to it. Give it a look or two. Maybe one look and then run belly. You're out of timeouts, though.
This is when we're talking, again, cornerback on an island. You had a great game, but now you're on an island if they go to that fade.
Six foot long. Trying to see how they had that one tall receiver that doesn't usually start. See if they have a special fade pattern for him. Dietrich at running back. Aquino right alongside of him. He's your QB. Motion goes across the screen. Aquino's going to try to throw it to that motion. It's floated up and nearly tipped away, but it goes complete for the touchdown. Darian Joyner. Boy, that's a bad
Davion Davis is trying to close on the man in motion and come in and make that, but he's already got that full head of steam. It's hard to beat him out there into that flat.
That's something under Coach Belfry we used to do. Always hit our motion guy in the flat. Low snap, it's picked up, spotted, up and good with 19 seconds to go. It's 14-7 Township.
No need for defense to really hang their head on that drive. It was that one big pass that was just an unbelievable catch by the receiver. Other than that, they did a pretty good job of holding that offense limited yards.
And I'm sure at halftime and at practice they'll be talking about pulling down a rebound, put your elbows out, shake them all around. Because it was like beautiful jumping up to pick it, and then here comes the receiver in to get his hands on and come up with it. When pulling down that rebound, you're going to be catching some elbows and just a little more aggressive, high pointing it and bringing it down. Maybe they complete that 2 out of 10 times, but they got it the time they needed it.
They got it.
It was a real nice kick return last time by Cephas.
Yeah, I don't see them kicking him this time. They're going to try to get out of here with that lead.
Well, it's Wilson in the up line behind the deep guys, along with Gallo on the near side. Look for the ball to go to about them. So 15 seconds on the clock. Vineland at their own 42. Let's see if they try to see how far Powell can throw this one.
Do have the slight breeze again, headed, pushing towards the
like that
bottom side of the field here. Why not?
We're going to confuse everybody and go with the southwest corner of the end zone. Now, if you're anything like my wife or the people I work with, you've been at Bridgeton High School. Which one's the east cafeteria? I go, the one on the east side of the building. And somebody goes, no. It's the other one's the west because it's by West Avenue. I'm like, oh, my gosh. You people. 1st and 10, Fighting Clan. 14 seconds to go. Powell sends motion. Got to reset, and they do. And back to throw. Mush rush. Powell steps up. Floats it out of bounds with 6 seconds to go.
Incomplete ball.
Take it.
But I got to take the positives out of that. Eyes were upfield the whole time. Never panicked. In the end, defenders were there. Nothing else to do. I'm just going to chuck this out of bounds, stop the clock.
That drive by Township, using all their timeouts, converting the big plays. And it all happened when they switched that quarterback. Because Vineland was able to stop the run.
Yeah.
They've shut down Scavetta. They've shut down Dietrich when he tried to run it. And Township just switches it up and said, well, let's try to throw it on him, see how we do. Low snap, Powell has it, fires, 1 second to go. Don't even try that. It was 1.1. Then it went down to 0.4. Come on, man. All right, I'll take 6 minutes. Throw a 6 up there. It's weird the things you look at. Once it falls incomplete, I'm on the clock and I'm watching it run an extra half second the last 2. Not that it really matters in this situation, but I think my biggest skill as a football coach would be clock management. It's like some people have it. And
it is definitely one of those things, yes.
And even as a player, it's like, all right, after this play, if they gain less than 4, we got to call timeout. Let's see if Powell's going to heave it up one more time here. Last play of the first half, barring a penalty, low snap. Powell has it. Buzzer sounds. And hit and dropped. That's that sophomore Jalen Robinson with the big hit. So as we hit the halftime, it's 14 for Washington Township. Vineland Fighting Clan with 7. A good half of football as Vineland took the early lead, and then a late big play for Township. And a fumble recovery in the end zone, too. I mean, the offense converted 1 off that big play. So we're going to step aside as we break for halftime. We'll turn it over to the Marching Clan band as they take the field.
Ladies and gentlemen, now entering the field for your listening and viewing pleasure is the 2023 edition of the Vineland High School Marching Clan. Christian Alvarado. He'll be escorted by his mother, Laura Rojas. Senior Jason Comatero, escorted by friend Angelina Medio and friend Logan Davis. Senior Sydney Cruz, escorted by her father Antonio Cruz, mother Jessica Cruz, and boyfriend Jonathan Ramos. Senior Connor DeRocco, escorted by mother Andrea Bordone. Senior Jeremy Flores, escorted by Billy Flores and Lisbeth Flores. Senior Alexis Gonzalez, escorted by grandmother Carmen Lopez, mother Brenda Liz Diaz, and uncle Javier Diaz, and brother Josiah Perez. Senior Anthony Gonzalez, escorted by his father Stephen Gonzalez and mother Jessica Gonzalez. Senior Zaria Jones, escorted by father Dewan Jones and mother Lisa Jones. Senior Jacole McBride, escorted by mother Nicole McBride. Senior Casey Rusaman, escorted by mother Laura Rusaman. Senior Grace Valdez, escorted by mother Maria Mendez. Senior Alyssa Vasquez, escorted by mother Judy Vasquez, sister Juliana Vasquez, and sister Isabella Vasquez. Nice round of applause for all of our seniors and their escorts.
Red and Gray Gridiron Club would like to thank the following sponsors for their support of the Vineland High School football team this season. The Greenview Inn at Eastland Golf Course, Reconstructive Orthopedics, Newfield National Bank, Van Dodge, Allen Associates, TechNed Consulting, Medio Law Firm, Barufi Brothers, G&S Dry Cleaning, Vineland Education Association, Dr. Michael Gorson General and Cosmetic Dentistry, The Claridge, a Radisson Hotel, Larry's 2 Restaurant and Catering, Botino's ShopRite, Coraluzzo and Torrisi Petroleum Transporters, Richland Carpet, Manny and Vic's Pizzeria, Sir Speedy, Rap Performance specializing in custom apparel and promotional items, and The Sweet Tooth. The Vineland High School football team and coaches thank everyone for their support on and off the field and look forward to another successful season.
And welcome back. Outstanding job by the band, who's also having senior night. Glad we were able to pick that up for you. We're about 3 minutes away from the kickoff to start the second half, and it's been a very competitive, very good game. And the difference on the scoreboard is a fumble recovery for 7 points. Vineland did a lot of things really good early in this game. They were able to move the ball running through the middle. They've converted some passing, but mostly it was the defense just totally shutting down the rushing attack that had about 250 yards on us last year. And for the fourth time, I'm going to say it, their running back was averaging over 11 yards a carry, and he's back a year older, a year stronger. But the defense totally shut down the running attack. And then all of a sudden it's let's go to the throwing quarterback. And your senior, Dietrich, who's a very good quarterback in his own right, as a running back and a slot receiver, just gives them some big, mature bodies. And they switched their whole offense off and started throwing. And if not for a jump ball that we didn't come down with, a great effort, nothing wrong on the play, but just an outstanding play by the Township receiver to be able to come down with that kind of is the difference, because that's the only time they scored. They haven't driven the ball. It was about a 45-yard completion that set some stuff up. So the defense has played really well. I don't know that the defense is going to give up 2 more scores. So we go back to the Vineland offense that has had some success with Tank Powell as his first start at quarterback. Like, they're going to have to get something going. And they've been moving the ball and then having the punt at the end. But the offense, let's see what they do a little different, because it's weird when you have success and you're getting 4 yards a pop, hard to do something different.
Yeah, you're doing it with a balanced attack, as you said. So maybe one play a little more crisp, whatever it may be. You just got to figure out what that one thing is to put the points on the board that are going with all that positive movement that the offense is doing.
And a great job running the ball by all the backs, but especially Cephas getting most of the work in that first half. And we're talking about Charles Clark, still out injured, who's number 2 in all Group 5 South in yards per carry and number 11 in rushing yards, and he's only played 2 games. So to have them together, usually it's thunder and lightning, and we talked about that the first 2 games. But actually, he's only played a game and a half. He didn't play the second half.
Yeah, that's true.
Against Bridgeton, so in 6 quarters he's done that. But Cephas has run well. Vineland going to kick it off, and we're going to start on defense here. Kick coming down to the 19. Couple people missed, trying to get around the outside. Looks like a clip in the middle of the field.
No yellow, though.
No flag. Good return for Township across the 50-yard line, as that was Logan Perez. And as this game's gone on, we've been talking about Perez more and more now in special teams, receiving.
Doing all the little things that makes the coaches notice you and get you out in the field more and more.
Back to Dietrich with 3 receivers at the bottom of the screen. Low snap, stumbling as he takes it. It's one of them weird things where you're like, what a great run by Dietrich. He keeps bouncing wide through 4 players to get back to the line, but it was an outstanding run, especially starting leaning forward with your head down, trying to pick up
a ball up off the ground, yeah.
On the first half, I was a little concerned with the lines of Township, but it's our defensive line and linebackers have really done a nice job.
Yeah,
this time, Dietrich keeps it himself, picks his way through the middle for a few. Vineland shuts that down, looking like a 3rd and 6.
When you can make a team completely change their offensive scheme, that's saying you're doing a lot up front.
And especially you're having a team change their scheme, coming off a 35-0 win with both your receivers, your quarterback, and your lead running back. It's just an outstanding turnaround. And this kind of performance by Vineland earlier in the year, week 1 and week 3, kind of adds and gives you 2 more wins.
Oh, Vineland lined up all sides. There they go.
It's floated complete for the first down to Deshaun Long.
Seems to be Dietrich's pass there, that little 7-yard hitch.
It's almost like a 10-foot jumper. You just
yeah.
Little flick. Thank Mrs. Greif again for the rest of the staff as she's provided some good nourishment to everybody up here. 10 minutes in the third. 1st and 10. Minutemen at the Vineland 38. Dietrich takes it himself. He's hit right away. No gain.
So Gallo made quick penetration. Got him about a yard back in the end zone. He was just able to fall forward for that extra yard to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Sometimes I think I can hear a coach at halftime. We're going out there. You're a quarterback. We're going to push this ball down their throat. But I am going to put 3 receivers out wide, try to spread them out a little bit. But they're definitely trying to get Dietrich going up the middle and yet to really use.
Oh! Mutcherson almost had the pick 6.
And it's not just Dietrich but also Aquino. That's the way their balls are coming out. And there's nothing wrong with it except in this win, if it's not tight and zipped, it's going to give you an extra step to get there. Kind of like Super Tecmo Bowl, if you had Dave Laufenberg in at quarterback, you could run your lineman back and get it.
Oh, double move.
And overthrown.
Yeah, Darian Joyner pulled off one of the best double moves I've seen in a long time. However, he just wasn't being looked at. He was right up the seam.
Well, when you call double move, I'm thinking, did he mean that pump fake by Dietrich? Because I have to watch the ball. Normally I get to watch what I want. But they're going to go for it here at 4th and 10 at the Vineland 38. See if they try to draw Vineland off. No, they're just going for it. Big pressure on. He's hit as he throws. And you don't even want to try to catch that, knock that down. Old Coach Heck would be yelling at you.
Just knock it down.
So good field position. The defense holds after a first down. And Vineland going to start at their own 38.
Good job not really letting the quarterback get his feet set there. You brought pressure, got in his face, made him probably make that throw a little quicker than he wanted to.
Yeah, and bringing that extra pressure off the edge, also makes your coverage a lot harder, and a great job because if you don't get there and there's enough time for him, nice push by the defensive line to not allow him to step up. All right, boys, let's grind it out here. Vineland spreads him out one back alongside Powell, and that's Cephas. Cephas going to be hitting the backfield. Falls forward back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Jalen Robinson got a lot of pressure up there. Causing Cephas thought he had the outside, but tried to bounce it back in.
He's a heck of a ball player, leading the team in tackles as a sophomore. You know, we talk about who's leading our team, who's leading that team in tackles. Sometimes your job isn't to make tackles, you know, and sometimes they don't run your way, and sometimes they don't attack you.
I always say I'll go back quite a few years. Joel Steed, one of the best nose guards that ever played in the NFL. Guy probably averaged 5 tackles a year, but what he did do was just eat blockers up, allowed those linebackers behind him to just make every tackle they could.
Diaz and Schwed down the bottom with Mutcherson. Good cut. Great cut. And there's a late flag coming in at the 39. Didn't see the official in the middle. I thought that back judge made it reach there as he's blocked out. Looks like we're going to have a hold on Vineland on the play. Real nice move on that run. Way to cut
nice move,
inside
nice
that
stiff
outside.
arm. Not something you normally see from a smaller back, a good stiff arm like that, but he threw it out there.
That's one thing that's overlooked. It's like, block for me. Where's the hole? And sometimes it's just as important for backs to find the right cut and the right hole. And the backs have improved so much at that. The coaching has, of course, done that with them, too. You know, there's more than just Seymour doing that with them, but the vision has been a lot better. Coach Hendricks on the offensive side now really has the backs getting everything they can. So 2nd and 20. Motion in front of Powell. Dive up the middle.
Oh, just got tripped up.
Tripped up on the play is Lewis.
Again, Nas Lewis, great job that time. Both hands on the ball coming through the line. Nice head of steam. Just got somebody's foot.
Yeah, you probably had all the penalty yards back, and then we'd be inside the sticks on this one. Very quickly down to 7 minutes and 15 seconds here to go in the 3rd quarter. Probably Vineland's most complete game so far. Pressure in the backfield. Cephas. Boom. He runs into 3 defenders. And once again.
Jalen Robinson once again.
So 4th down. Vineland will be punting it back. Cephas eludes the first 2. And
he did a good job to do that, too, because they were in his face right away.
Great pursuit by the Township defense.
Much better snap.
High and short. It's going to take a roll approaching the 45. So after the change of possessions, Township's going to get it back right about where they lost it last time on 4th down.
Yeah, with the wind starting to swirl like it is, that ball happened to get a little up into it. Then at that point, all you can do is hope for that roll once it gets you end over end, once it hits the ground.
Yeah, it's not the night for a high booming punt. So 1st and 10 for Township. Aquino back in. Gives up the middle and finished up really nice, as there's really nowhere to go for Diedrikowski. Picks up a yard. So the first drive was Diedrikowski at quarterback. Aquino back in there now. Scavetta and
they have all
Diedrikowski back.
the whole backfield. What do you do here?
And it's power football, but it's a fake. Floating it out to his receiver, making the catch before he's knocked out is Logan Perez. You got those 2 guys that can run it there. It's got to pull your attention.
Yeah, they definitely used their advantage with the play action there.
A bit of a tighter look here. Diedrikowski up the middle for about 4.
Great pursuit by Gallo there coming from the backside. I was always told, if you get an end, making a tackle on the other side of the field, that kid's going places. So there you go.
Back in the day, it was Darren Lugiano would it was mostly option football. If it went the other way, you just watch him run behind the line
yeah.
and come and catch up. So 2nd and 8. Just under 5 minutes in the third here. Aquino flips it out. He's got blocking in front of him, but he can't get up the field as an outstanding tackle on the
Vanador. Nice job of reading that. Little slip screen, got out there, broke down, made that tackle.
And for hardly any gain, it's going to be 3rd and 7 from the 25. It's weird if they pick up 6, maybe a field goal. If they pick up 2, you're going for it again.
Yeah.
Weird down in distance, Aquino to throw it. Late pressure comes wide open out in the flat and into the end zone. Scavetta.
Yeah, no one accounted for that wheel route out of the backfield. Everybody's looking deep, not accounting for that guy just leaking out there, and he had that flat all to himself.
Vineland's held him pretty quiet in the running game, but just having Aquino in and 2 different people to care about in the backfield, and just like you say, you sneak them out. Kick is up and good, 4:01 to go, and a good time for us to take a break and thank our sponsors.
Red and Gray Gridiron Club would like to thank the following sponsors for their support of the Vineland High School football team this season. The Greenview Inn at Eastland Golf Course, Reconstructive Orthopedics, Newfield National Bank, Van Dodge, Allen Associates, TechNed Consulting, Medio Law Firm, Barufi Brothers, G&S Dry Cleaning, Vineland Education Association, Dr. Michael Gorson General and Cosmetic Dentistry, The Claridge, a Radisson Hotel, Larry's 2 Restaurant and Catering, Botino's ShopRite, Coraluzzo and Torrisi Petroleum Transporters, Richland Carpet, Manny and Vic's Pizzeria, Sir Speedy, Rap Performance specializing in custom apparel and promotional items, and The Sweet Tooth. The Vineland High School football team and coaches thank everyone for their support on and off the field and look forward to another successful season.
Thanks again to our sponsors making this broadcast possible, and everybody at VPS Broadcasting. You can always find the games on, as my uncle says, the YouTube. I do it for fun now, too. So Township to kick it off. Vineland down 2 scores. It's a little pooch kick. You can fair catch that if you like. Instead, just making a nice catch and pulling it down for Vineland is Xavier Mercado.
It's always a good thing when the pooch kick and you retain it. You're in good field position.
Well, without this strong wind today, what we've gotten out of the kicking game with Greif has been some touchbacks. It's been a little while. Some balls driven back inside the 5, definitely inside the 10, as compared to in the past. Even with strong leg kickers, we just pooch it up to the 35, tackle them at the 40. But the Vineland special teams have improved a lot and are able to cover down the field. 1st and 10. There's Cephas in the middle, hit right away and dropped. And whenever you don't know who did it, just figure Jalen did.
He's making some excellent reads from his linebacker position, knifing himself through.
Well, it may be time to put Ryan Carter in there and just have him.
Give him one nice lead ISO block and put an end to all that.
Sometimes when it was actually Coach Hendricks, when I was coaching with Coach Belfi, when he was playing for Millville, it's like we can't beat him. We can't get outside of him. We can't block him, so we're going to run the ball at him 30 times. Yeah, not that it worked, but, I mean, you've got to do something to slow him down. Here comes pressure. Both inside backers, they're picked up. Powell has time, floats it short and incomplete. Outstanding job that time as both inside backers come on a blitz, and that line just held up brilliantly.
Yeah, you're so used to, especially in high school football, seeing one of those backers squeak through, but good job of recognizing blitz coming, setting yourself up, get a nice pass set, and get those hands underneath those pads.
We had like a simple with Coach Parentazzi, over you, inside, or linebacker.
Oil.
Right, but then when somebody blitzed, well, we were doing pre-snap, and I'm like, well, I got linebacker the way they lined up, but dude is here. 3rd and 11. Powell to throw. Pressure coming. Tries to elude it. Stays on his feet momentarily, but he's going to be sacked for a loss. As we hit 3 minutes and time to send on the punt team. That drive stalls out, doesn't go anywhere. See Coach Guzman on the side in that nice Vineland jacket reminded me I have one and I forgot where it is. I haven't seen it in about a year and a half. It's very slimming on me. I'm sure it's doing the same for Coach Goose. So 2:31. Garton back at his 19 to kick it away.
Greif.
Oh, see, thank you. That was the old one. I was
Yeah,
looking
I'm
at
like,
old
wait a
notes.
minute.
Fair catch called for.
Get on it.
Down it,
Get
boys.
on it. Get on it.
So to the 46. I was looking at the notes, and it was like Garton kick. Like Garton in my head, and we were talking about other kickers.
Yeah. That was a really tough sack for Powell to take. I mean, if the kid didn't get a hold of the jersey just right, he was free of that. He was powerful enough. He was going to get through that. His eyes were doing the right thing, looking downfield.
Boy, what a difference jerseys from back when we played, where they were loose and big shoulder pad.
Yeah.
To now things are like skin tight. Like I couldn't breathe in the jersey now. So 1st and 10. Aquino stays in at quarterback. Scarvetta this time picks up about it. Well, he's still going. He had a yard. It looked like Vineland's trying to rip the ball out there.
And there's a flag, a little bit of a unnecessary roughness there. One of the linemen from Township.
A little bit of a late hit.
The famous words from the NFL ref here, he was giving him the business.
That's like a pro wrestling thing.
Yeah.
Not much of a late hit. You know, there was a rugby scrum, and just in separating, a little shove.
Yeah.
The officials haven't really called many penalties today. Both teams have been pretty disciplined. The only thing I could see is, I forget which receiver it is, but the one in the slot to the bottom, kind of like Lane Johnson. He gets off right at the right time and almost looks like he's early half the time. But the officials really haven't been a factor, which is awesome. Very good discipline on both sides. When I say discipline, that doesn't mean pushing and shoving, executing properly,
Yes.
being in the right spots, lining up the right way, getting the play calls in from the sideline, and all that communication that goes on.
When you're dealing with teenagers, that's a lot.
All right, and we're back ready to play. 1:58 on the clock. 2nd and long. Aquino to throw. It's tipped high in the air. And just not able to come up with it is Sodi.
I was waiting for him to dive. I was really waiting for him to dive.
Our luck, he dives and lays out, bounces off his hands into the Township back. We've already had a couple deflected passes go the other way. But see, that one little break in discipline now has a 3rd and really long, and Vineland hopefully can defend this one without the first down and get the ball back still in the 3rd quarter here. Plenty of time.
Your slot receiver here to the top of the screen. He's been the one to hurt Vineland deep.
They flood that zone, but they're going deep. off.
That's who they went to.
Jeez. I really thought he was going along number 3, but you're right on the money there. They flood that zone short trying to pull up the safety. That was probably the best pass he's thrown. Not that he's thrown bad ones, but that was a thing of beauty.
That was nice.
So 4th down, the Vineland defense holds and will be getting it back. As Xavion Diaz, back deep to return, stands at his own 29-yard line. And Mutcherson says, let me get this side. Let's not let this hit the ground and roll around. High snap, he has to move. He's got it. Pressure on and gets it away. And it's going to fall short, but it's going to keep rolling. To the 28. Jalen Robinson, of course, is going to touch the football whenever he can.
Yeah.
He's always around it. Yeah, defensively for them, he's really stood out. A young inside backer.
Yeah, as a sophomore, having your name called that many times.
And he looks bigger than his numbers here, 5'9", 185. Kind of looks like a 6'2 1/4 in there. He's got some of them old pads on that we used to wear. But he's having a whale of a game. So 1:38 to go. Vineland's going to need to get something done here. Most of their yards on 2 long pass plays against them. And nowhere for Cephas to go now. They're almost now trying to force Vineland to have to throw it with the pressure they're getting up the middle.
Yeah, they're starting to pin the ears back, just drive up field.
See if you can peek that D line and see if they've got stunts going on or they're getting extra in there, because they're getting through much more easily than earlier in the ball game as Gallo checks out.
And it could be, just they could just be playing angles, trying to not let the lineman get the outside contain on them. And
Vineland's going to take a timeout. Trying to figure out exactly what they want to do.
Yes. Speaking of pads, I did have that conversation with somebody. They said, remember the lineman pads? It seemed like you put them on, your pads were up to your ears.
I barely needed that neck roll.
Yeah. Now they seems like they walk around with wide receiver pads.
Well, I used to bug the heck out of Coach Parentazzi, especially my sophomore year. I was defensive tackle. That year I wrestled 141, so he would get mad at me being only 160 pounds from the jump. But then as the season wore on and I dropped 20 pounds to get ready for wrestling, not quite pleased. And Vineland's done a little bit of that. Usually it's the 2 really big defensive tackles / ends they have there. They've gone a little smaller, as we've seen, and they're holding up pretty well.
Yeah. I mean,
Donnie St. Jean, 5'9", 2 1/4. And also Phoebus was in there last week a lot. He's
it pays
5'11",
sometimes up
180.
front to just be a little bit quicker. And if you get that with a little bit of a smaller guy, then so be it.
Yeah, they are just sending their backers. Let me tell you, I only did it in high school, but playing guard, and all of a sudden you're engaged and somebody's coming to the inside of you. And that's where me and Ray, is like somebody's on Ray's
somebody's
nose.
got to.
It's almost like the defense blocks and pulls you out to open something up. Well, with 15 seconds here to go in the third quarter, not sure Vineland will get this off as we're down to 10 seconds. They are approaching the line. And they're telling on the hold, and that'll take us to the end of the third quarter. So in that third quarter, it's Township with a long swing pass completion for a touchdown. Vineland's defense holds on the last drive, but hasn't gained much field position as the running game has just been shut down with tremendous pressure. Do you drag a tight end right where the backer's coming from?
That's just what I was thinking. Keep an eye on that safety. See how deep that safety is. If the backers are going, you know you have a little bit of space right behind them as they go on their blitz. Maybe take a shot there.
Yeah, either with, double tight or a tight slot, whichever backer's up, you just replace them there. Tough throw, especially with the pressure coming in your face there. But you've got to be able to make those linebackers stay back because you're outnumbered up at the line of scrimmage.
And Powell's shown enough of a touch that he could very well just float it right over and get it to that tight end that's, squeaking out there.
Coach Smith and Shelton, two of the defensive coaches, their guys have done a good job and gave up 2 plays. This offense has put up points.
You hate that old moral victory thing, but yeah, you've held a pretty well-oiled offense.
Well, if there's one thing we
just
learned
a few scores
from Vineland this year is, they'll keep coming. They can get something going late. And it's intercepted right in the middle of the field, making his way to the far sideline with an escort of blockers. It's Logan Perez with the interception. So now the defense has scored twice for Township. A fumble recovery in the end zone, an interception, pick 6.
Hate to see that. He's trying to make something happen. You're deep in your own territory. You know your team needs that first down. Just don't account for everyone.
It's just really hard to throw back against the grain. We had a few of them last week as we tried to get in it. Extra point. Up and good. Well, I was going to say is, we scored in the last second, the last play of the game, both at Kingsway and here versus Bridgeton. So they grind and they can come back, and just when we're talking about that, it's a defensive score. A tough break for our defense, as you've given up 14 to a high-powered team.
Tough one. Powell shouldn't be hanging his head right now. Coach Vizo's giving a nice talk. Now Coach Shelton turning it over. Time to forget about it. Get on defense.
Well, with those defensive scores, it's kind of like down 7 at the half, and
nothing but positives in your head, but sometimes it's the little things you don't think are going to happen, and
give credit
down
to
20.
To Coach Schultzman, as we led this half talking about the change he made, then goes back to his regular quarterback, brings in Aquino again to open back up the offense. So an awful lot for Vineland to defend, but great ability to adjust by Township. And recovered at the 32 to squib kick. After that long return by Cephas, they want to make Vineland have to move the ball down the field.
Yeah, that was a great job by Julius Wilson, because that ball was headed where no Vineland player happened to be.
So it looks like fullback Ryan Carter is checked in as Powell comes in with the play. So Vineland a little more of a tight formation here. And the linebackers creeping. Here they come, both of them. And they run belly under it. Good idea. But still able to make the tackle on the play as Osborne.
It is a good thought, though.
Yeah, that's
they're,
the
they're
other
pinning,
thought.
running upfield. Hey, we could sneak one past you here.
Yeah, that's the other answer too. Both inside backers blitzing. So a gain of 1 second and 9. Power football up the middle. Picks up a yard or two.
Yeah, it's almost like they're not even trying to hide it anymore.
Yeah.
As soon as line comes out and set, they're already creeping forward.
And they're able to do that also because we can't get the ball out wide because their corners are playing and outside backers are really playing stout there. Think of it as almost like a drop back passing pocket. You know, they've got the outside contained and then rush through the middle.
There he's creeping.
And incomplete as Powell picks his way nicely through the pocket. But
At least I thought Gilbert did recognize, picked him up, gave Powell enough time. Just pass just fell a little short there.
well, except for one play, the one thing we haven't seen from Powell today is what he did last week, which was taking off with the football. You know, and that may have been an opportunity to try to stretch it out a little bit.
He needed 8. Maybe it was available, maybe it wasn't, but taking off might not have been a bad idea.
Snap is down, kicks away, takes a violent hop, and it's picked up. A nice tackle. Way to stay with him is Rayon Carter.
Didn't expect him to field that one. try to run for it.
He's a little slow getting up. Well, I can remember years ago watching Mainland, who has an outstanding team this year, as I mentioned pregame. Anytime you punt it to Mainland, they put 2 guys back, not to return it, to receive it. All they did was call fair catch, and no ball could hit the ground. And they probably gained 15 yards every change of possession with that. And I that year I never saw them run with it. Didn't matter if anybody was near them or not.
No, that would you're out there to do one thing.
Not let that ball roll an extra 15 yards. 1st and 10 now for the Minutemen. Aquino's still in. He gives on the sweep. Stretched out pretty nice. Good tackle. Nice job
Good
down
pursuit
there.
and good tackle by Mutcherson. Reading that, recognizing he's trying to bounce it out a little wider than he probably originally intended with that sweep.
Well, Vineland, as I keep saying, has given up the 2 big plays, but you can see fundamentally how sound that was. You know, Mutcherson stretches them out, but still doesn't give them a cutback on the inside. Their support on the outside played perfectly by the defense. 2nd and 9. Now they're going to put a little extra down on the bottom, flood that zone, and they're going deep.
Oh.
Think it hit the ground? Yep.
Yeah, it hit the ground.
Powell almost comes up with the pick. And that's fairly close to coming up and getting some space to run in, too. Feel like I'm at a Pitt game, right? Pitt, West Virginia. Thought it was a nice friendly thing till I really paid attention to what was going on.
They do not like each other.
Yes, Solomon DeShields, Bridgeton then transferred to Millville, playing for Pitt as a junior. His mom I work with at school when they were heading to the game. And I was like, how bad was it?
I think anytime you deal with West Virginia, it's any type of rivalry, you're dealing with something there.
Officials having a chat with Coach Setzman. He's not happy over there. Vineland with 2 receivers to the bottom of the slot and a wide out to the top. And Powell's going to keep it. He hops to the outside to the 30 to 35, make it 36-yard line, gain of about 4 or 5 on the play.
Take what they're giving you at this point. If you can get outside of them, take it. They're definitely trying to clog up that middle.
Jalen Robinson doesn't make the stop, but he's all the way down at that from the right inside backer down to the bottom and left side of the defense. And Powell ready again, and whistles blow. Don't see a timeout signal. The official's fixing his hair. I thought a hat was off. I'm like, no receiver could go out of bounds on that.
Having a clock issue here, it seems.
We got 8:36. Remember when we first got the turf and the lights and the officials were all mic'd up? And they liked it too.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're ready to go. Powell gives in the middle, and then there's an opening. And brought down after a nice gain on the play is Cephas. That's the most room he's had since the first quarter.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Dziergowski, I'm thinking he beats the safeties through that seam.
When we talk about how Township's changed things up offensively, new quarterback to running back, lead back really not getting a ton of touches. Nobody catches a touchdown pass coming out of the backfield. Very unselfish team also to be able to use them in different roles without anybody whining, complaining. 1st and 10 Vineland in Township, side of the field at the 45. Powell's going to give again. This time nothing there for Carter. And it looks like Jalen Robinson collects his 20th tackle of the game.
A tiny little chirping after that when the officials came together. I wasn't sure what
they've been doing a lot of talking lately.
I'm not seeing any laundry, but there's an awful lot of talking going on.
All right, it's Cephas back there with Powell. 3 receivers up top. There's the give in the middle to Cephas. No, it's Powell keeping it himself. He gets hit at the end of that run, picks up about 4.
There we go. Oh, but who's it on?
Oh, they're looking at red shirts for a number. If you hit me, then I'll hit you back. A lot of times it's guy number 2. Let's see what we got.
That's what I'm afraid of here.
Dead ball, personal foul on the defense.
Offsetting.
And on the offense. And you know what that means? Nothing, because they're dead balls. Well, that was good. You didn't pick a side. It wasn't major. And to penalize one team wouldn't be fair. 3rd and 7.
Bad thing now is Township defenders know they can give that little push as long as they do it first. They're not the second, because usually, as you said, the second guy is always the one getting caught.
Vineland quickly up to the ball here. Powell to throw. Throws it short and incomplete.
And surprise, surprise, they sent backers again.
you know, on that pattern, even if Fanador comes up with it, he's pretty much back at the line of scrimmage. Be nice to try to get somebody in motion from the backfield in the flat. They can get ahead of speed up.
Like I said, that's one of the hardest things to defend. It's a guy already running with full head of steam. You're just trying to catch up at that point.
When you're running with a full head of steam, one little head fake is enough to have you break down and lose a step or two. So 4th down for the Fighting Clan. Here comes the linebacker. He's picked up. Now flushed out his pal. And he goes out of bounds for no gain. And Township will take over with 6:23 to go here in the 4th quarter.
Blitz was picked up. They just couldn't hold it as long to give Powell a good chance to set his feet.
Well, like, nice job picking up the blitz, but at the same token, you had to give 2.5, 3 yards to be able to pick it up, which then puts you close
you're
to
pushing
Powell,
right back in his face. It's hard.
where there's no ability to see up the field. See if Township slows it down as they go back to Diedrikowski at quarterback. Scarvetta breaking through, and this is where it's great to try to strip the football. You're down 3 scores with 6 minutes left. Make the tackles.
Yeah, just make a nice solid tackle, wrap him up, pull him down.
Because he could have been tackled after a gain of 2 or 3.
You could tell by the way he was carrying the ball when he came through. That's what he was expecting, just a 3-yard gain and fall down.
And they go again, and this time still going after that football there. So a gain of about 5. About 5.5 minutes left in this one. Angel Moyner checks in at defensive tackle. Oh, heading to the bottom. That's defended well.
Yeah, I think it's the first time they ran motion with the H-back, so I was assuming they were running with that power.
Yeah,
they countered against it.
They're already overloaded there, and great job by the outside. I think that's that Sodi setting the edge over there. Well, you can see that Township's going to be a handful next year with that.
Yeah,
young
very
quarterback.
young. Both sides of the ball, pretty young.
Vineland, heavily juniors, except for that offensive line.
We're going to delay a game here.
No call yet.
They sent the wide out back. Maybe the legal subs. No? You threw the flag, but you didn't take any yards.
Or downs. Ball's loose on the ground. Stumbling, bumbling tackle for loss on the play. Fanador, I believe, in on that one.
That seemed to be just an outside zone play. The quarterback was just trying to get to the outside. Hopefully they built him an edge, and he was just going to see what he could get.
So Township set the punt. Try to pin Vineland back deep with under 4 minutes to go. Punt high and short. Hits at the 25. Down at the 26, where Vineland starts with 3.5 minutes left in this one.
If anything, with these last 3.5, just try to get yourself a good drive. Go out a positive note. It's been, 2 defensive touchdowns. I mean, there's nothing you could do about it.
Yeah, and you have
They hurt.
next week. You have Holy Spirit, so another tough one coming up for the Fighting Clan. Powell under center. Powell wrestled down after a gain of close to 10.
I like what he did there. He did the old, just go deep. The help defenders, linebackers saw it. They're like, oh, I need to drop deep. Allowed him to get that yardage that he did.
So it looks like they're going to give him 7 on that. Schwed and Mutcherson check in. As out comes Gallo. Play's taking a little bit of time. Powell to throw. Under pressure, floats it, complete to Mutcherson, who has enough for the first down.
Nice concentration by Mutcherson, knowing he's getting nearer and nearer to that sideline to be able to go up, grab, and get a foot down.
Yeah, he's been really good getting in the air and getting up for the football.
And again, Powell, as someone, not completely familiar with the offense, still learning it, but essentially, to throw like that on the run, it's a positive sign.
So 1st and 10, Fighting Clan, 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go here. Here comes the pressure. Picked up, over the middle, tipped, and incomplete. Intended for a Fanador. That one had a little zip on it.
That was tough because, yes, he didn't make the catch, but then it bounces off the helmet, and then you're like, oh, here we go again.
It's a couple helmet balls tonight.
As the lineman, be ready for the blitz because you know it's coming. Try to give your quarterback as much time as you can.
Almost close your splits down a little
Yeah.
bit, right? So your body's in the way at least.
Going to what we call it in college, the 50 protection.
And Powell sacked. One, two, three, four, 5 Minutemen right around Powell.
Just couldn't set it. He had receiver open downfield, just couldn't, wasn't given the time to set and get that ball off.
So 3rd and about 15. Clock down to 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Senior night that started out all right. And Powell's going to give it another look. This time steps up in the middle. Now puts it away and runs with it. Picks up a few yards, setting up 4th down.
Good decision because where he was ready to let go of that ball, he was already past the line of scrimmage. That's your whole loss of down. And
Yes, we have had 3 quarterbacks this year, and they each bring something a little different to the table. And just like we saw Township go from their starter to their future quarterback to mix things up, maybe that's the next move for Vineland. Rotating in when they're all healthy, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Have different packages for Gallo. Have different packages for Powell, for Martinez.
Yeah, I mean, when they're on, they seem to be effective. I mean, why not go with it? Oh, put that ball away.
Well, turnover on downs right at the midfield mark with 1:06 to go.
Like I said, that's always a good problem to have. If you have a couple people who can rotate in and out, everybody brings a little something different.
And you have to prepare for different things, too. Being a Notre Dame fan, when you play service academies, you're getting triple option,
Yeah.
and you got to just bust your chops for over a week of getting ready for that and then throwing it away till next year.
Everyone says, why does Navy, why do they play so well against it? It's something you only do once a year.
Little false start. I don't know, team's going to kneel on the ball. Yeah. A la Buddy Ryan here after you make him jump off. So tight formation. Diedrikowski going to kneel on it. And he'll have to do that one more time before this one officially goes in the books. Once again, our parent of the night, Miss Greif. Thank you so much. Got to remember to bring this Tupperware back down. And we'll see what next week brings. Anybody wants to compete with Miss Greif? We'd love to rate the competition, but this is going to be a tough one to beat.
A not so subtle hint out there for the parents of the players.
Township, one last kneel down. And that's going to do it as Vineland falls 28-7 to Washington Township. Well, T-Love, let's start at the beginning of this one and recap. I mean, it started out great. Vineland gets on the board. Touchdown the other way on a fumble. Long pass play at the end of the half makes it 14-7. And 2 touchdowns in that second quarter for Township. One in the fourth was on a pick 6. So the defense gave up 2 scores. The offense gave up 2 scores. So, score looks a little lopsided, but the defense actually played really well against a high-powered offense. Got them out of what they wanted to do, moved them into their next option.
Yeah, I mean, Cliff Smith, hats off. Great game plan. Really, I mean, held a very high-powered team to 14 points when it's all said and done. Offensively, Coach Goose, Coach Hendricks, you got somebody essentially brand new play in the position. You did what you needed to do. They did a great job. Just some little things they need to tighten up. Move on. Next week, another tough opponent. Put those things together. Come out with positives.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. It was delicious. All right, this is Rich Scarpa for Terry Love, T-Love. We'll be back next week. Thanks, everybody up here in the crew. Next week, we're heading to Holy Spirit to face the number 4 ranked parochial school in the state. So let's bring it on. Let's see what we can do next week. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you then.
Red and Gray Gridiron Club would like to thank the following sponsors for their support of the Vineland High School football team this season. The Greenview Inn at Eastland Golf Course, Reconstructive Orthopedics, Newfield National Bank, Van Dodge, Allen Associates, TechNed Consulting, Medio Law Firm, Barufi Brothers, G&S Dry Cleaning, Vineland Education Association, Dr. Michael Gorson General and Cosmetic Dentistry, The Claridge, a Radisson Hotel, Larry's 2 Restaurant and Catering, Botino's ShopRite, Coraluzzo and Torrisi Petroleum Transporters, Richland Carpet, Manny and Vic's Pizzeria, Sir Speedy, Rap Performance specializing in custom apparel and promotional items, and The Sweet Tooth. The Vineland High School football team and coaches thank everyone for their support on and off the field and look forward to another successful season.